Okay. So this is the first time we've done this. We're excited about it. We got some cool stuff to talk about, some challenges, some goals, and some things that we want to encourage you and your maintenance team to work on. And this should have been probably put together a while ago, but now that we're getting caught up on some projects and kind of getting things ironed out, we want to lay a foundation for maintenance across Carter Lumber. Manufacturing has grown a lot, as everybody knows, and there's a lot of opportunity for maintenance to grow in your plant and be able to work and perform better for you and with you guys. So we're going to talk about all that. So the meeting goals, we want to align expectations. We're going to lay out some framework of the SOP, why we did that. You guys should have all gotten that before. I'll send it out again after this meeting with the meeting recording. This is really just put together because, there's been some miscommunication, some misunderstandings of what we're looking for when we go out. And we just want to lay this framework down so that you can see clearly what, maintenance is responsible for, how maintenance should perform, and what we're looking for. Strength and communication, focus on ownership, professionalism. We're going to talk about some Limble CMMS stuff. I know a lot of you managers probably haven't even seen that program yet, but it's our online web-based program that the maintenance technicians use to complete PMs, track work orders, do their daily tasks on there. We're going to review the SOP. We'll talk a little bit about that, and we'll clarify how we support you guys. So with that, I'm going to pass it on to Daniel to talk about why maintenance matters more than ever.
Good afternoon, everyone. Thanks again for joining us, taking some time to meet with us. This is important because it's so easy to think about maintenance as just going out and fixing a machine, but maintenance really is more than that. We're not just fixing machines. We are protecting Carter's ability to produce products, because at its base, we use machinery to assemble things and then sell those things. That's what we're doing on the manufacturing side of things. And without those machines, we can't make money, or we're going to make less money because we're constantly broke down. So we really are maintaining and protecting the ability for us to do what we do, and the ability to make money. Maintenance is a critical part of a team. In my opinion, it's as critical as good management, because eventually, without a good maintenance team, things fall apart. Same as with good management. It's what it takes to keep things running. You can get away with it for a little while without being on top of things, but eventually you will see the results of poor maintenance. And then Carter's growing quickly. So part of us being able to grow as a company and to continue excelling at what we do is caring for what we have already put in place. If we can't take care of what we've already got, it's going to make it that much harder to continue expanding, both as a company and at individual locations. So first step to growth is taking care of what we've already got. With that, I'm going to hand it off back to Caleb.
Okay. Thanks, Daniel. I'm going to pass this one off to JJ to go through. JJ, you there?
I am here. Hey, how is everybody? I know it's in the evening time, so we're gonna be quick with this. So why the SOP was created? It's we created the SOP so that we have a consistency through the manufacturing locations, such as communication, not just with the management team group, but also with other techs and vendors, so we can cut out a lot of the trying to run down people to get parts, tools, and support. Is Also, we want clear expectations for each tech. And with that being said, is the expectations is how they handle a breakdown, how they handle their tooling, their parts, and their techs that's under them. If they're a team leader or a supervisor. Is the other thing is the audits. We're going to start doing audits when we do these at these plants when we come and kind of tour your plant to see where your trouble spots are, such as if you're having trouble knowing what to do in the PM. Is we're going to do a PM with each tech to see if where they're having trouble at. Not if they're having any trouble at all, but if they are having trouble, this is what this is for. Is and the importance of tool and parts organization. The tools that we have is at these plants is needs to be took care of. They need to be put in a specific order in a specific place, so the technician can go back to that place and get that tool. As such as parts is also, I mean, we need to be cataloging these parts and doing a good inventory on them, so we are not double ordering parts that we don't already have on the shelf. Is and if we cut down at least 2 steps from each person every day, we're saving money and time. And that's just what this all boils down to is money and time. And if we can save that, it will be great. And with all that being said, I'm going to hand it back off to Caleb.
All right, thanks, JJ. So maintenance tech expectations, a lot of you guys do a really good job. We're not harping on any in particular person, but just as a company, we're setting some of these expectations clear. So communicate daily with production, plant manager, whatever that looks like at your location. Daily is what I would like to see, what we would like to see, but maybe that doesn't happen at your location. At minimum, it needs to be weekly. I know, when I was full-time maintenance at one location, they had a daily production meeting, and the maintenance guy was always in that meeting to talk about things that needed to be done. It gave the other team leaders opportunity to bring up an issue with maintenance or whatever concern they had in their department. So I highly recommend, if you guys aren't doing this already, to at least have a weekly meeting, and set that up with whoever you want. If it's the plant manager, the production supervisor, some table leads, whatever that looks like. That way you all have a chance to discuss what needs to be done in the coming days or coming weeks with maintenance, with a certain machine that needs to be scheduled to be down, whatever that is. This is very important. And as a maintenance tech, you should always have, obviously use Limble, but when you come into this meeting, have a notebook that you've got a list of things that need to be talked about, stuff you need to order, you need approval for, or something you need to schedule to have down so that you can have some time on it, whatever that looks like. That's very important. Um, that'll give you a chance for, clear updates on priority repairs and PM status. Don't wait for breakdowns. We expect you to communicate with machine manufacturers and vendors with the parts and service that you need. Outside of that, keep us informed when you need help. We don't want to be the first call, but we don't want to be the last call. We want to know what's going on so that we're aware and we know that, you've got what you need to do your job. If you don't, we will help you. We will resource search or whatever needs to happen to find the stuff that you need. Some other things here, be a leader by example. I mean, you maintenance guys are out on the shop floor all over the place every day, and being an example to the operators, your builders, all the employees out there. You're in communication with a lot of them on a regular basis, and so being a good example and teaching them things to help you take care of our machinery and keep everybody safe. Represent Carter Lumber standards. What I kind of mean by that is, like, you guys are an image out there for Carter Lumber, for management at your location. You want to look professional, act professional, treat people professionally, all those things. That's what we're expecting out of that. Maintain your stock parts. JJ talked about that a little bit, and we'll dive into some of that in the next couple slides. And keeping your maintenance tools and areas organized. I can't tell you how many times I show up at a location and we spend a day or so, or maybe less than that sometimes, helping clean and organize because it's a disaster, and then you can't find anything when you need it, and you're ordering extra stuff that you already have buried somewhere. So that's something that you can put on your list to work on through 2026. If your location is not organized in parts and tools, that's something you guys can work towards. So let's talk about downtime. So obviously there's two different kinds of downtime. We have plan met downtime, which is, like I said, you have a meeting, you plan a machine to be down so you can do a PM or a repair to it. That downtime, that specific downtime costs you very little money because there shouldn't be any production in front of it. There shouldn't be workers waiting at the machine because it's all planned. But then you have unplanned downtime. Well, that will cost you a lot of money as a location. And Mr. Jeff Kenyo helped me put these numbers together. These are just kind of rough numbers, but we figured, if you got a component saw or a roof jig that's down and you've got 2-3 guys or whatever that are feeding or working at that station, that thing can cost you between $1,700 to $4,000 an hour of downtime because of all those guys standing there, all the work in front of it that's waiting to go through it. And then you look at a finish press, that number increases way more because you might have 4 jigs feeding that thing or maybe more. And so you've got way more people standing around when that press is down. So, it's between $6,000 and $8,000 an hour of downtime that is costing you. So, when you lose production on a machine breakdown, you never get that back. You can try with overtime, but in general, it's gone. So it's very important to have parts on hand, be able to react quickly, and then be able to plan preventative maintenance and repairs before it just decides to break down on its own. So with all those numbers being thrown around, 20 grand sitting in spare parts doesn't sound as bad. Some of you guys may have that, depending on the size of your plant. Some of our plants are much bigger than others. Maybe you need to think more like $30,000 to $50,000 because that number grows tremendously with a motor gearbox on a finish press that's $8,000 to $14,000, or a VFD that's $6,000, or just some of these parts that are high dollar parts. Not everybody needs to keep everything, but that's going to be up to you to kind of look through your inventory, your machines, and decide what you should start putting on your list of inventory. So evaluate that this year. And I'm not suggesting everybody go out and spend tons of money right away, but what I'm suggesting is you make a list and you start gradually throughout the year building up your parts inventory. If you need one thing for an emergency situation and it might be something that's coming up again, order 2, or vice versa. You need 2, order 3. Like have that mentality of like slowly building that up and maintaining that inventory. And it'll cut down on your next day air charges too. The more you have in stock and the more you maintain your parts. Lean on the machine manufacturers. A lot of these guys that we buy, Mytech, Inventec, Monet, whatever it is, if they're still building that machine and they still support it, it's not, 30, 40 years old or whatever it is, then you can lean on them and you can ask them for a recommended spare parts list and kind of work on that throughout the year. And then if it's anything outside of that, that's a refurbished machine, like we've got several of them out there that aren't manufactured anymore, then work with us. We'll help you with some of the machine shops we use, some of the vendors we use, and we can help source some spare parts for you. So in the next slide here, I'll let Josh cover this one. He helps out a lot with Limble, maintaining that and working on that for us. So Josh, why don't you go ahead with this one? You there, Josh? Josh must be having some technical difficulties. There he is.
Technical difficulties. There we go.
There he is.
Know how to work on equipment, but not a headset apparently. So anyway, but yeah, as you can see here, we started using Limble about a year ago now. And I think we've made a lot of really, really good progress with it. And I think everybody's doing a fantastic job. But as always, we want to constantly try to improve what we're doing with it just to help out with all the various maintenance needs and just trying to make everything a little bit more efficient. So there's a couple key points here that I just want to kind of go over and clarify a little bit. First one being faster troubleshooting. So documenting problems helps make troubleshooting faster by providing a clear record of potential past issues. If the machine's breaking down, a technician can reference what those past issues may have been and kind of give a faster assessment on maybe what the root cause is. So that way we can get it back up and running a little bit quicker. It also can help with less confusion between maintenance techs and management by kind of creating a clear understanding of what's been done, what's being done, and what has to still be done. So that way, if you have like a change in shifts, the first shift maintenance people kind of know what the second shift might have done the night before or something, so you don't have a whole bunch of rework being done. It can help with budgeting for parts and tools. Keeping good documentation will help with overall budget management by having a track record of parts that commonly fail or wear out due to normal operations. It makes it easier to predict when parts might be needed. It makes it easier to plan accordingly, so that way you don't have to kind of incur large expenses that might hit all at once, so you can have a little bit of foresight. It tracks the asset performance. This obviously helps by letting everybody know what machinery might be having repetitive issues or constant breakdowns. And it really just kind of helps make it easier for us to assess whether or not you need a replacement or whether we need to just do a full rebuild on that piece of equipment. It also helps with asset performance, whereas it kind of lets us know how often the machine is breaking down. So it kind of goes with the task or the tracking of assets. But determining whether or not the machine might go down in a month because we know this has been an issue in the past, whether it's a chain that needs replaced that we know we need to replace every month or so. It just helps with that kind of information to prevent a lot of this unplanned downtime. And so you could see in the last slide, it can get pretty pricey. And it just helps with overall facility performance. What's happening on the day-to-day basis with your equipment, what's breaking down, what's working well, what's not working well, how much are we spending on downtime? I mean, it's all stuff and all really, really good information that we can gather just by good documentation from the maintenance techs and putting notes in work orders just to give us all of that information to be able to help you guys stay running more efficiently. With all that being said, we also have some goals that we would like to achieve with the new Limble program here that we've been using. Kind of goes back to what I was saying about the documentation, but we want to see a little bit more improved information input from your maintenance technicians. Just document everything. I mean, you can't really put too much information in it. So the more information that you guys put in, then the easier it gets for all of us down the road, just because we have all that history stuff backed up. Another thing that we're kind of working on is inventory and parts tracking. We're starting to play around with trying to maintain certain inventories of parts and tracking maybe where those parts have gone. We started doing some more vendor collaboration. So a lot of you maintenance technicians will probably see that you now have access to a master vendor list. So that's something that we've kind of put together just as a record keeping or a Rolodex, if you will, of different vendors that we use and contact information. And then lastly, we'd just like to see everybody just kind of participate in some continuous improvements through some of the Limble training. On each one of your access pages or your home pages on the upper right hand corner, you'll see a little rocket ship, if you will, little rocket ship icon. If you click on that, that takes you to a whole bunch of different live training sessions on specific modules for Limble, whether it be creating a PO or adding vendors or importing stuff. I mean, it's all kinds of information on there that we'd really like to see you guys get a little bit involved with and learn a little bit more about the system, so that way you can start using, or that we can all start using it really for just its full potential. But that's all I have, so we'll pass it back to you, Caleb.
All right. Thanks, Josh. So you all know how we support you. I mean, you've seen us at your locations doing installs and projects, whatever it is. But, you know, the guys, most of the maintenance techs know they can call us anytime if they have a breakdown of a machine, and troubleshooting, parts sourcing, problems communicating with vendors or getting what they need from vendors. You know, we want to know that stuff. We're here to help. They can call, text, email anytime. Limbo questions, you know, I mean, I think most of the guys know when we're out traveling, we don't sit at our computer a lot. We're out in the field actually turning wrenches and helping people. But if you email us and say, hey, I need this change on Limbo, you know, we'll get to it the next time we're sitting down at our computer. So installs, rebuilds, special projects, that sort of thing. That's how we help you guys, and all aspects of the business, trusses, EWP, millwork, whatever it is. We're here to help with all that. And it would be a good idea for you guys, each location, to have some maintenance goals of your own that you can talk about with your team, and figure out what those goals are you want to shoot for this year. But here's some ideas. Maybe stronger ownership of equipment. Maybe your mentality needs to change about how you take care of things there, as if, you know, it was your machinery. Better communication with managers. I can't stress that enough. You know, the managers need to know what's going on in their plants. And it's up to you guys as maintenance techs to relay that information and keep them in the loop of what's going on. And help us with the Limbo accuracy and PM completion, like Josh talked about. You know, all those things that we want to start seeing in Limbo takes you guys on the other end putting that information in. And we can't build history without that information. And it's not a time-consuming process for the most part. Limbo has a really good mobile app that I think a lot of you have been using, that you can use out in the shop floor. Put a work order in real quick, track some downtime. You know, putting parts in and parts inventory in Limbo is a little bit more tedious. We're going to get into more of that later throughout the year as we kind of build the system and add parts inventory and whatnot. And a lot of it's going to be location specific. But you know, we'll be working on that throughout the year and asking the maintenance techs to help put that information in there. Improve safety performance. You know, that's another thing that we all can work on. Sometimes we do some sketchy stuff, and maybe we need to think about things a little bit differently so we can all go home safely and not miss a finger or an eyeball or something stupid. Collaboration between between locations. This is something that I've been pushing a little bit for maintenance guys to use the mfgmaintenance@carterlumber.com email. That goes out to all the maintenance techs at every location. And it's just a way for you to say, hey, I've got my Tech blade saw or my TCT or whatever it is, and I've been having this issue and I can't seem to get it resolved. Has anybody else had this issue? And it'll give everybody a chance to say, oh yeah, I had that and here's what I did. And then you can start communicating directly with that certain technician. You know, we're all in different markets. Obviously, you guys all work for all different managers, but in general, you're all doing the same thing every day. So utilize that and just allow that network to be able to help you through some situations. And then, you know, build your maintenance culture. Don't just react to breakdowns. You know, think about those critical spare parts you need to have, and do some repairs that actually last. You know, Band-Aids only last for so long, but following up with a proper repair is building a good maintenance culture. So with that being said, I'll end the recording here and open it up for questions. We'll maybe give like 10 minutes. I know, you know, everybody's probably wanting to end the day. So let me go ahead and end this recording here, and we'll open it up if you guys want to talk.